Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann coming to you from Woodstock, Georgia, where I own a CrossFit garage. This podcast is all about helping you lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. And we do a lot of fitness because I own the gym. We do food because without that, your abs will never show up. And we do finances because if you are going to live long, my job is to help you look good naked and become harder to kill. And if you're going to become harder to kill and live longer, then you need money. Otherwise, you just become a burden on somebody else. So you push the pain on somebody, another loved one that didn't mean to or didn't want to caretake for you. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today is to get the thing out of what you want from the things that you're doing. So, for example, I'm doing CrossFit. What am I truly after? Well, for me, I want to be able to coach my kids in soccer down the road, right? So what does that mean? Well, I got to be healthy and fit enough to be able to be mobile. And it didn't really have to be soccer, but you get the picture. And I have to be better adjusted so that I'm not a dick and they actually like being around me. So I am old, I am friendly and competent, and I am super mobile and able and capable. So that's the goal for me. Now, there are other things along the way that I want out of CrossFit and other these other events that I do. And you try to gain that without jeopardizing tomorrow. So we have two rules in the gym. Rule number 1 is show up. Rule number 2 is don't do anything stupid today to prevent you from showing up tomorrow. So there are many times, and it's usually guys, they're like, I'm going to get a 1 rep max on this. Let's go. And maybe it's not the day, or maybe pushing to the 1 rep max, there's opportunity for catastrophe, right? So they may or may not do something stupid. I tend away from stupid. I don't do the things that don't progress my goals. So a 1 rep max doesn't necessarily do anything for the goal. It is nice to say, hey, that's what it is. It's a good showboat. But at 52, I just don't care. I really want to get out there and do fun things because I want to have adventures. So I'm going to go through a couple things. One is the intended stimulus for the workout and why we do it. I know I've covered this before, but there's a lot of new people out there listening. And I want you to understand what you should be aiming for when you follow any type of program. What the programmer has intended for you to get out of it. Not what you're getting out of it, but what they intend. So for example, I do a workout and Evan does a workout, my son. If we both did RX for the workout, we're going to get something entirely different. He is taller, so some of the movements will be easier. I'm going to be stronger at the moment, so he's going to push against the weight more, right? So we're getting different things. It's not what the programmer has intended. Now, we have to put something in there, RX, or as written, intermediate, so that you guys can aim for something. But the better thing is to aim for the intended stimulus. And then I'm going to go through a couple things that we've been out there doing and show you how I use that, not just in the workout, but in the things that I do, like this brag. I'm going to tell you about the adventure we just did, the bike ride across Georgia, which it really wasn't across Georgia. It was a bike ride up and down Georgia. And basically, it got dangerous. And I said, well, I've learned what I needed to learn. I'm out. So I'll go through that. And a couple other things too. Okay. So I guess the first newest thing is we will be hosting the True Challenge again on October 10th. So of course we're looking for competitors and volunteers. So mostly volunteers from the gym, but I'd love for you guys to compete too. They have a new option, which is I do RX sometimes. So it's typically for the people who would not move on in the CrossFit Open. So you didn't make regionals. Yes, this is for you. If you're making regionals, then you probably shouldn't be doing this workout. It's mostly for fun. Yes, there are medals for awards and things like that, but it's just to push yourself, to elevate yourself to the next level. What it does is it helps you understand who you are and what you can do with your fitness. Now, I'm going to say I enjoy this a lot, but I'm also going to tell you that I really hate CrossFit competitions. Now, I don't like the sport of CrossFit competition, and the reason is that is unattainable. If you want to try to use the sport of fitness, and it's not even fitness anymore, it's a sport of pushing yourself beyond the limits and then ruining yourself for later on, then hey, by all means, you're an adult, do whatever the hell you want. But there are lingering effects from trying to go this hard, this much all the time. And us mere mortals I guess you could have the goal that I want to get there and I'm okay breaking my body. That's not for me. It's like our model for the gym. We are happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now as well as in our 90s. And that's the big part of it, as well as in our 90s. And the sport of fitness doing these competitions ruins you. Now, that being said, I do like competitions, but not trying to make it the uber and the ultimate. I like adventure racing. I like the idea of HYROX and Spartan races and all that stuff. Get out there and challenge yourself. But that's different. You're not going to do a HYROX competition and then walk away from it going, oh no, I've ruined myself for the next 40 years. I've got a thing, right? That typically doesn't happen. Okay. So we do have the True Challenge coming up October 10th. Hopefully you guys will jump in. I'm going to go right into our CrossFit affiliate page. They give us a lot of information and resources, and one of them is CAP, CrossFit Affiliate Programming. So there is a list of workouts they put out for everybody, and they say, hey, if you're an affiliate, you should be doing what we're doing. Now, you'll notice it is not loaded up with stuff. The workout is the workout of the day, the WOD. There isn't an A and a B and a C and a D and a lift and a this and a that. CrossFit's idea is that we have constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity sometimes, and that will drive your fitness. Their determination of are you getting fitter is increased work capacity across a lot of types of movements and times. So what does that mean? I'm doing sit-ups, I'm running a 5K, I'm doing a deadlift, right? If you're increasing your work capacity, then you're getting fitter. Work is distance times weight. Is that right? Work is foot-pound. Yep, distance times weight. And then power is work divided by time. So if we can speed up or we can do more, then we're increasing that intensity or that power. Okay, that being said, here is a week of programming. Let's see. This week is already passed, right? June 7th, 1 through the 7th. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. So this is the week of June 8th. Let me pause you guys and see when this podcast will come out. Okay, I moved forward yet again. So I typically they load the programs into Wodify, and it's usually a week or two ahead of wherever we are. That's why when you guys ask me, Andy, what's the workout tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know, because my brain is already confused with all the other workouts. So anyway, I pushed us forward to June 15th, the week of June 15th, and this podcast should come out around that time. Let's see, is that a Monday? Yeah, so it'll come out on the 15th. So you'll see what our workouts are. And some of these things I have to edit and change, like this very first one, I had to change it around a little bit. So let me just give you a description of what's going on and why we do this stuff and what the intended stimulus actually is. Okay, so in this workout, it's descending from 10 reps down to 1, bench press, chest to bar pull-ups. Okay. Bench press. That's interesting. We don't do that much. Chest to bar pull-ups. Okay, we do pull-ups. So interesting. Okay. Some of you guys immediately see the problem here. If we're doing 4-time and speed, then people get deadly when it comes to the bench press, and I don't like it. The other thing is, if you're doing the bench press with our rig the way it is, you can't really do pull-ups. So it doesn't really work well. So what I did is I changed it to dumbbell bench press so we can move the benches away. You can get your dumbbells. And when you fail on a dumbbell bench press, you can just drop them. So that's fine. So the coach does not have to run around looking for people who are going to choke themselves out. So I did change it. Mostly logistical. It just won't work in the gym. We don't have standalone bench presses. Okay, so the intended stimulus. It says, hey, this workout should take about 10 to 15 minutes, and advanced athletes probably could go sub 10 minutes. The bench press the bench press weight is your body weight. So that I don't like this because it penalizes the new. Typically, new people when they come in are under strength and overweighted. So you're like basically saying screw you. So I'm just not a fan of it. So I changed it to actual weights, and of course you can always up and down the weight whatever you want. Now, if you're an uber athlete, the bench press probably isn't a problem. You're probably strong, and your weight's probably not a problem. You're probably weight correctly, right? So that's why they're saying, hey, you could go sub 10. Bench press and pull-ups in 1 to 2 sets each, short breaks if needed. So probably the round of 10, most people will try to go straight through it. I would break it up in something smaller, something more manageable, probably 4, 3, 3, just because that's what I like to do. I know they're saying, hey, 1 to 2 sets. That would be 3 sets. But I'm okay with that one. So it's getting close to the intended stimulus, right? I do that because I know that bench press is a problem for me. If I really try to do my body weight, it really wouldn't work. So immediately I'd have to adjust the weight down. Chest to bar pull-ups should be unbroken from round 5 and on. So actually, Yes. What they're saying is, I don't want you to pause a lot to like shake it out or do something. I typically rotate my hands. I do 2 pull-ups with my hands reversed, and then I flip them the other way reversed and do 2 more pull-ups. And I can do them back to back to back to back. So yes, it's not exactly what they mean, but the bigger point is don't take big breaks, right? So you have to look at this intended stimulus and say, Andy, am I even doing this right? You know what? Answer is probably no. Could I do, let's see, 10 down to 1, I think it's 55. Can I do 55 pull-ups in under 10 minutes? The answer is yes. Can I do 55 chest to bar in under 10 minutes? The answer is yes, it's not a problem. Can I do 55 chest to bar pull-ups with a bench press in under 15 minutes? Maybe, I think so. But when you push that bench press up to the body weight, I can't. So what do I need to do? I can do a couple of things to adjust this. I could adjust the bench press weight, which is definitely something I should do. Strength is my weakness. And the chest to bar pull-ups, they're saying unbroken from round 5 and on. It is possible for me to potentially get there, not in 2 sets. I drop down more often. So I might change those to regular pull-ups. But Andy, you're no longer going RX. That's okay. That's not what's intended. RX is something they just have to write so that somebody can measure it and say, this is what I did, and compare it against other people and compare it against next time. If I do it scaled and I make notes, then I can still compare it against myself. Now, when you go scaled, I can't compare against Tommy or somebody else because I don't know what they did and they don't know what I did. It just says scaled. So that's why it doesn't track that. There's no ranking on scale. It does say advanced athletes may perform strict chest to bar pull-ups. So they're assuming that it's going to be easier than what I'm assuming. So maybe I'm wrong. I know I could go back in time and look for a workout that is similar to this to see what I've done. I don't care that much. I do know me, and I know what I would have to do to hit that stimulus. Okay, so they do have an intermediate and a beginner, and then they talk about some skill work. For the coaches, when we go into the Wodify app, we also get to see the coach's notes. You guys can see this video. If you ever want to, you can watch the video for the workout. They give us more information about scaling, which we should all pretty know relatively well. And then some logistics on if you're not at the gym, what would you do at home, if you're a master's, and then a time breakdown so that you don't overshoot class time. There's always video resources we can watch, and you can watch these resources too. Then they give us a plan from that timeline saying, hey, these are the things you can cover. When a coach starts, they pretty much read this straight through and then they bring most of it to the table. After some time, it's not rocket science. You kind of understand what you should be doing. Now, if you've ever been in my class, I still write down a time map, so a schedule, so that I make sure that I'm hitting each part and not messing up and going overboard. And then, having the class finish like 15 minutes late, because nobody likes that. They do have some interesting things that you can do in there for the class. You can, focus on this or that, teach some skill or this or that. Okay. So anyway, the point though is the intended stimulus. It's in every workout. I copy and paste it into the workout for you guys. It doesn't come normally. I have to do a lot of editing. You can go watch a different video or podcast that I did. Actually, the video would be more interesting on what I do to adjust. Actually, I'll find it for you guys so that I'll tell you what. Okay, I found it. It's called Wodify. How do I program for my gym? I think that's the one it was anyway. And let me drag it over here so you can see it. This one right here. And it basically shows you what I do to take the stuff that CAP puts into Wodify, then how I readjust it so that we can use it more appropriately for the gym. Okay, so that was a Monday. What does Tuesday the 16th look like? Hey, it's 5 rounds, 800-meter run, 50 air squats, 20 GHD sit-ups, or 30 ab mat sit-ups. Now, immediately, we only have 3 GHD sit-ups and not many people want to do it. So I'm going to make that the plus option and do the ab mat sit-ups as the as written portion. The reason I'm going to do that is they just said do one or the other. We don't care. And I don't think that's a really good way to compare. 20 GHD sit-ups and 30 ab mat sit-ups are not the same. So I went ahead and made it a different division so we could track that. Now, what's intended? Hey, they're saying this is a 35-ish minute workout. So 27 to 35. So let's call it 31-minute workout. A long grinder without a barbell in sight. Now, they don't need to say that. Run efforts in 4 minutes or less. Air squats in 2 minutes or less. And sit-ups in a minute or less. continuous movement through the whole thing. I cannot do 20 GHD sit-ups without pausing. It just wouldn't happen. So I know immediately I'm not doing, I don't like them either. So I am not doing GHD sit-ups. All right, now I'm going to look at this time domain. 800 meter run. Let's see, 400 meter run, 2 minutes, 800 meter run, 4 minutes. So you have 4 minutes or less. Yeah, I can make that work. Air squats in under 2 minutes, 50 of them. Yeah, I can do, I think it takes like maybe 2 seconds to do an air squat. So 50 is 100 seconds. So it's definitely under 120, which would be 2 minutes. And then the sit-ups. That actually is the hardest part for me. This part I probably would struggle with. Just around 11, my stomach starts to really clench up. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. Like, look at the clock, and I might just say at 1 minute, I move on. Their goal is continuous movement throughout. So it's not burn it down. It's find that pace that's a little above comfortable and keep going. Now, if you did that and you did yesterday's correct, you would see that there's not an overlap in stimulus, right? Sometimes there are because that's what they're programming. But in this case, hey, it's a 12-minute workout and it's a push-pull. And then we move to, that's Monday. And then Tuesday we go and it's a 31-minute workout and it's more leg and it's more about breathing appropriately, right? Okay. So that's the intended stimulus. Of course, you can do the intermediate. Let's see. Wednesday. So I changed this one. They picked Gwen and they said, hey, in Gwen, it's 15, 12, 9, and you must perform the 15, 12, and 9, the individual sections, unbroken, touch and go. Otherwise, you have to start over. So I don't care for that piece. It doesn't make that much sense for what we're doing. So I changed it to Grace. It's clean and jerks, same thing. And then I put in there hey, when you're done with Grace, with the remainder of the 15-minute clock you have, find a heavy clean and jerk. So it's always surprising to people to see that, wow, after all of that, I can still do something really awesome. I can lift something heavy. Yes. So why did I change it? The intended stimulus, lift the heaviest load possible with good technique. So right there, what I changed it to is still inside the stimulus, right? I mean, Gwen and Grace are pretty much the same workout. Choose a challenging load for the set of 15 and see if you can hang on. So that's the part that I don't like. And yes, I know I am forcing a change on that and I'm okay with it. It's not about the grip and it's not about penalizing you, like the body weight thing, penalizing you for not knowing your body well enough to say, I picked something at 15 that I could do. Like you could pick super light, but then you're going lift the heaviest load. You're missing that because you don't know. So I'm taking away that puzzle piece of, I just don't know what I can do 15 reps of, and keeping the part with the heaviest load. So it says moderately heavy for bigger sets in an overall low volume workout. Now, low volume, so 30 reps for this, or for this is a little less, right? It's 15, 12. So that's 30, 20, 15, 9, 21, 15. So I'm doing 9 more on Grace than I'm doing on this one. And so it's still low volume. It's only 30 reps. Let's see. The workout is about grit and mental toughness. That's Grace as well. And as much as it is about strength. Okay. So yes, the change that I made fits the intended stimulus. And this is how you would do a normal day. What can I do to change it to make sure it hits the intended stimulus and not just do RX for RX sake, right? So that doesn't make sense. In Gwen, that's interesting. They do not have the weight. That's fascinating. Let me go find that. Okay. It appears that you do pick your own weight. Anyway, let me move on. So Thursday, similarly, this is every 3 minutes for 8 rounds. So it's a long workout, 250 meter row, 5 box jumps, and you're recording the time that you complete that. So there's 8 individual times. So it's a burner. So in a minute and 30 or less, taller boxes than normal, fast pace on the rower and right into the box jumps. You got to watch out because your legs are going to be weird. The intended it's got intended interference with leg fatigue, right? So if I'm pushing and then jumping, watch out, you don't hit anything. So do you have to do the 24-inch box ladies or the 30-inch box men? Well, it says a taller box than normal. So maybe, but the bigger thing is I want you to sprint through this at 1:30. So you need to look at the row time and then those jumps. Also safety. The box jump and the rope climbs are areas where you could potentially hurt yourself. So I really like people to watch out for that. Okay. So that's the intended stimulus. You should aim at what the programmer is trying to get you and me to get out of this, not just going RX or intermediate or as written or whatever. Okay. So the example I'm going to put in real life, I did this brag, the bike ride across Georgia, and really it was just up and down Georgia. So it went from Lafayette to Columbus, and the first 2 days was fine. We did 50 miles and then 30 miles, and then the third day we did a 60-mile day, and we went across I-20 into Carrollton. This is where it got dangerous. So the reason that I did this isn't, well, I wanted the intended stimulus of multiple days of long biking, and I got that. But I was also trying to figure out, like, what does my rear feel like on the seat, and how do my legs feel biking this much continuously? So the 60-mile day, I took 4 breaks of about 10 minutes apiece, and it took me from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that is a lot of biking. What I realized was CrossFit is good. I'm able to go out and do this, but my butt is not good. I need more calluses or more time in the seat so that I can actually not have pain. Now, I did buy a seat that I really like, and it basically doesn't hurt, but doing 150 miles in 3 days, it does. So I need to change my programming for myself to include some bike riding. But I found that this bike riding on the road is super dangerous. So as we got close to I-20, the trucks and the cars just got more, and bikers and cars don't agree on the rules. And it's really the bikers' fault. So I biked with a bunch of people, and I saw with my own eyes bikers not following the rules of the road because we don't have to. I'm like, well, you can't ask to not be hit and for cars not to, understand what you're doing when you don't actually follow the rules that are set forth. So, for example, lady pulls up behind me and we start talking. She's like, how do you enjoy this brag? And I said, yeah, it's interesting. I'll probably never do it again because it's unsafe. She's like, unsafe? What do you mean? I'm like, well, the bikes don't follow the rules, and most of them don't even know they're not doing it. She's like, what do you mean? I said, well, she goes, I do. I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, 30 of us just blew through that stop sign without stopping. Technically, we're supposed to stop. We're a vehicle on the road. She's like, well, yeah, but no one was coming. I'm like, it doesn't matter. When a car gets to a stop sign, they stop. So other things were like, we would say car back, meaning there's a car behind us wanting to pass. And these guys would stay 5 abreast. So from the white line, the edge where the shoulder is, all the way to the yellow line in the middle. And the cars are like, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, technically, we're all on the road and you should go slow with me, right? But they would get annoyed. They want to get to work, and so they would want to pass. I saw multiple times cars pulling into the left side, the other lane, up a hill, around a bend to the left. So they've got a blind uphill turn, and they got over to gun it. And one time, I guess everybody saw it because it's like someone threw a turd diaper out there, and all the bikes scattered, and the car jumped over as another car whizzed past. So yes, super dangerous. Is that what's intended? No. Is that what's happening? Yes. If I bike with these fools, am I likely to get hurt? Yes. And it's 1,000 people. So the cars are seriously pissed because it's not just 1 or 2. It's a ton of people. So I learned what I needed. I got my stimulus. 3 days of a lot of biking that told me, hey, I need to up my bike training and in a place that's safe. When I found that this was unsafe and that nobody cared and they were all like, no, it's the car's fault. I'm like, nope, I can see it. I am not one of you. I am not a road biker, and I don't want to be because this is dangerous. I bailed out. So I Ubered it down to my car at the end and then got my truck, drove back, picked all my stuff up and drove home. Yes, I lost out on money and time and some experience, but I'm alive and I learned a great lesson. If I want to add biking to my routine, I need to bike somewhere that's going to be safe. Well, it so happens that Alpharetta and Cumming and that area over there has the green prints. So let me see if I have that pulled up. I do have it somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So they have this greenway and it is 9 miles in one direction. So 18 miles if you go back and forth. And I know that 18 miles would take me should take me about 2 hours. This actually moves a lot quicker because there are no hills. So it would probably take maybe an hour and a half to do those 18 miles. There is very few times when you're even getting close to the road that you need to do anything like get off your bike and be cautious. This is as safe as it gets. Yes, I understand there are other bikers and other pedestrians out there, but there are no cars. And I am not in a race, and I don't mind pulling over or letting somebody by or slowing down. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that. Why? Because there's another thing coming up, the TNGA. Let me pull up some TNGA information. So it's the Trans-North Georgia Adventure. Basically, you bike pack 350 miles across the north end of Georgia from South Carolina to Alabama or reversey. So there's 3 of us that want to do it. And my biggest problem is I simply don't bike that much. And I wanted to see what it would be like to be out there biking and bike pushing that long. Now, as an adventure racer, I know I can go for distance and I can push a bike. It's not a problem. As a road biker or trail biker with this much going, like this much volume, the answer is I don't know. So 350 miles, I did 150 in 3 days and I felt pretty good. So I imagine I could do 6 days, 300-ish miles. Maybe a little bit more. So maybe this adventure will take 5, 6, 7 days. Unsure, but I know what I need to do to train for this. Which was the point. The intended stimulus is finish 350 miles. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, let me move on. So an intended stimulus, I thought I wanted to run for some political office. I know you're like, run for office. There's a website called Run for Something. So the first step is ask your mom, would you vote for me? Then go to a city council meeting. Does it make you like, are you into it or you hate it? And I went and I was like, oh yeah, I hate Robert's Rule of Orders. I hate all this stuff. I'm not interested. So I got what I needed and I walked away, right? I don't need to continue down that path. Just like brag. I got what I needed. I don't need to continue down the path. If it's not for me, politics, or it's unsafe, brag, then move on. It's okay, right? So this goes back to like, hey, Andy, how's this go to CrossFit? How does this work? Well, it's a 30-inch box. Do you feel that it's unsafe? Well, then don't do it. It's okay. What's the stimulus? They want this leg fatigue and they want you to be on a higher box than normal. Do you have to? No, but you can try to step on it maybe if you want to do that. Then for you're not going to fall over, that actually might be a good one. Instead of jumping, you step. So you get a higher box than normal. So it gives you some of what they're asking for. And going back on the other day, or let's actually go forward to Friday. Back squats. It's 5 sets of 5. This technically should take like 2.5 hours. So we're going to do it in under 60 minutes. So do you need to squat like down here? They said the intended stimulus is all those reps we're counting are above 70%. Well, does it have to do that? I mean, that's what he's intending. It's a heavy day. But what if you're like, my leg hurts? Then don't do it. Listen to your body. Okay. Another one. Oh man, this is Kennesaw Mountain. Whoo, I couldn't get it out of my mouth. I should have just read it. So Hank says, hey, I'm going to try to do a race with my buddies out west. We're all getting together, high school friends. We're going to do like a 30 or 40K. And I said, that sounds super dumb. Tell me more. And he said, so I'm going to do some jogging on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. I'm like, Saturday is interesting to me. Are you looking for a run buddy? Because I would be interested. He's like, yeah, sure. Come on down. So he said, let's go to Kennesaw Mountain because we can get elevation and I need that for the race I'm going to do. I need to feel what mountains are going to feel like. Plus I need distance. I'm like, okay, all right, you lead, I will follow. So we get out there, we have great conversation, we're moving. I realized once we did 6 miles, I'm like, okay, I am falling behind as 52-year-old, and he is not as I don't know how old you are, Hank. Would you like 28, maybe 30? I don't know, maybe 20. No, you're gonna be older than 26 because we talked about that. Anyway, much younger. And I said, hey, how far do you think you're going to go? He's like, I don't know, maybe 12 miles. I'm like, all right, I think I need to turn around before that because I feel my ankle and my knee hurting. Again, what stimulus am I going for? Hey, I just wanted a long run with Hank. How far? Originally, he said maybe 8 or 9 miles. Then he was like 12 miles. And then he eventually did 15 miles because he didn't have this slow guy with him. But he needs the volume for this big race. I don't really need the volume. I just need to get out there and move some for this TNGA to make sure that I'm hitting that domain, that time of I'm out there in the suck for a while. So we met at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I think I made it back to my car by around, 11:30 or something. And he continued on. So there was a time when it was maybe 7 miles in. And I said, hey, I think this is the place where I turn around. He's like, cool, I'm out. Let's go. So he took off and I turned around. Why? my ankle hurt. So I was verging on stupid, and I already hit the stimulus that I was trying to get out of it, which was a long run. Now, I was also double dipping. I wanted to hang out with a cool guy and learn more about him. And so we did that. So, you know me, if I can, I Venn diagram everything. I overlap it all. So we did. So he ran this map of the Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park is long. There is a lot of miles. I don't know the exact extent of the miles, but he did 15 and he could have done more. So you can go a long way.
Can you give me a stamp?
Okay. So there's a good example. Olivia needed help, but I'm doing this recording. I remember my goal is I want to be able to coach her kids in soccer one day. So I need to pause and help her because that's important to me, right? Anyway, so these intended stimuluses are important. What you aim to get out of whatever it is you're doing is important. If you don't know, that's a problem. Like CrossFit, and you come to this gym. Most people come because they're like, I need to do something different and better for my health and fitness. Yes, it is the biggest and best shortcut and hack to health and fitness that I have ever found, especially if your time is crunched. So if you have a time issue, this stuff is great. Even if you don't, it's still great. It just really helps for those that lack time. What is your goal in it? So Hank says, I need more endurance jogging. I need my feet to be used to this because I got to do this 40K. Great. So he's adding to. Now, does he have to for fitness? No, I go out and do a 10-hour adventure race and I have enough fitness to do it well, have fun, and compete well. Sometimes come in first or second for my age group and totally fine the next day. So yes, our fitness is good, but I don't bike much, I don't canoe much, and I don't run much. And I could do better if I did those things, but that's okay for me. That's not what I'm trying to get out of it. It's just time in the woods with friends. Okay. What else did I pull up here for you guys to ponder and consider? I think that was pretty much it. Yeah. So anyway, understand why you're doing what you're doing. Understand what you're trying to get out of it. Understand what the person programming, in this case for CrossFit, is trying to get you out of it. Let me check my notes to see if I missed anything. No, I did. I had something for you, some lessons that I have learned. So in doing the things that I do, I've learned that I can't handle the cold without preparation. So my toes and my fingers go white. So it might be that Raynaud's disease. I don't know. But if I do some prep work, like I open up some packs of those Hot Pocket things, not Hot Pockets like the things you eat, but you open them up and the air reacts with the chemicals inside of them and it makes them warm. It's actually oxygen anyway. So if I use those, I'm good to go. If I plan for it, I'll be okay. I don't have to run away from the cold, not pun intended. That was accidental, but I need to plan for it. I learned that I need more electrolytes than I thought. So in this brag, another piece of the puzzle was, hey, could I just bike and use regular water? The answer is no. I still need to take 4 electrolyte hammer pills, Endurelites, every hour, and I need to eat something. So I was eating a beef jerky stick. So I learned, drink a thermos of water, take my 4 pills, and eat the beef jerky or whatever it is I'm eating, because that's what I do in an adventure race. And this is just as much work, even though I'm not like getting off the bike much. So I learned that sometimes strength matters more than endurance, but not always. Endurance is pretty damn important. So I got to make sure that I'm okay there, which so far CrossFit's done really well for that. I've learned that sometimes endurance is way more important than strength. I basically just said that, but yes, you got to have them both, which is why I do CrossFit. I learned that my fears are usually bigger than the actual challenge. So I make a joke when you look at someone's backpack and you see what they're putting in it. You're like, it looks like you packed all your fears. And so I try to unload those. So in this brag, all I had basically was my bike repair kit and then some toilet paper and a little bit of food and the electrolytes. I didn't take anything else. So there was no emergency of this and that. I was like, hey, we're around civilization. I have my wallet. I should be able to buy what I need to, right? So I also learned that I like to gather data and not just go into it experimenting, but create my own laboratory thing to go and help round out the event so that I can control or understand the variables. I also know that it's not about just fitness, it's about life. So to be fit and no friends really sucks. To have friends but no fitness, well, that sucks too, because you could die and you're just out. Okay, also to go along with the idea of don't be stupid, you should sign up to do things and learn and have fun and, all that. But I wouldn't sign up for an ultra marathon if you haven't even been walking. That's just dumb, right? I don't recommend you doing the Everest thing if you haven't even watched some of the documentaries on what they're doing. So again, don't be dumb, be wise. I don't recommend, attempting something that has death as a real option without serious preparation. That just doesn't make any sense. I think you should have a challenge and it should push your comfort, but it shouldn't make you stress out like, oh no, I need better insurance because this could be it, right? You should be able to throw in a dose of common sense to get over this. And if you're not sure what that is, because sometimes we don't have our own common sense when it's about ourselves, ask somebody. So don't let a bad decision break you. It's just like the idea of constantly showing up day after day at the gym or for your finances creates the great results. If you do something tremendous and stupid and you ruin it and you don't show up, yeah, that's not great, man. It messes things up, both health and finances. So some easy things that should push you in, not necessarily in order, but kind of is sign up for a 5K and walk it. Sign up for a 5K and jog it. Do a obstacle race like Spartan or Tough Mudder or one of those. Try the True Challenge. You already do CrossFit, most of you. The HYROX or a HYROX simulation. Do an adventure race if you know how to have a mountain bike. So that's a good one. I wouldn't do it if you've never been on a mountain bike. Set up a hiking trip. Do like I did this brag bike ride. It's not a race, it's a tour. Of course, you're on the road. I don't really care for that. Learn to kayak and get out there. It could be even simple, like, hey, be uncomfortable, take some dance lessons, right? Go to, Brimstone Tavern and do line dancing, learn something, right? Join a rec sport. CrossFit says the pinnacle of everything we do is sport. Now, sport also has the side of injury, so watch out for that. So the idea of what we're doing is, yes, it's fitness, but it's not about just collecting more workouts and jotting down your numbers. It's becoming a more capable human. This is why when you're in my class, I'm going to tell you, look, squatting below parallel is key. Throwing the wall ball up is nice, but if you're not squatting to depth, you're leaving a lot of your potential on the table and you're not actually getting what you could get out of this. All right, so I think I'd leave you with this. So a great way to discover your weaknesses, your strengths, your potential is to put you in situations that require you to use them or to find them or to push a bit, right? So, all right, guys, hey, this is Andy McCann. I own CrossFit Garage out here in Woodstock, Georgia. My goal is to help you guys lead or build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finance. Maybe next week I'll go back into finances. Y'all take care.